And now to the business of the day, I'd like to call our chair of the day, Yi Dan, to take over today's meeting. Yi Dan.
It's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. Coco Ma. Coco holds a PhD in creative writing and is a writer and a producer with an innate understanding of film, from storytelling and cross-cultural context to engaging international audiences, as well as equity financing and international distribution. Her recent works include Blacklight starring Liam Neeson, which was nominated for 2 awards at the 2022 Australian Screen Sound Guild ASSG Award. She also worked on Better Man starring Robbie Williams, which received widespread acclaim, winning 9 AACTA awards, including Best Film, Best Direction, Best Lead Actor, and Best Supporting Actor. It was also nominated for an Academy Award for the Best Visual Effects in 2025. Now, please join me in welcoming Coco as she shows her journey and insights on independent filmmaking in Australia.
Hello, everyone. At the beginning, I want to express my appreciation for the invitation to present my journey today. And then also, I would like to spice a little bit like my life journey when you enjoy your sweets at this moment. Okay, so independent film financing productions. I've been told I have to holding this all the time in order to, let everybody have the clear speaking. So this poster called Better Man. I'm not sure that if you guys ever heard about this movie, but this movie is one of the biggest independent film producing in Australia. It's cost 130 million US dollars. Well, so it sounds like, a huge project because you imagine that, the whole building of which you're staying here probably producing, one movie. Or if we're saying like the $2 million house, we have like 50, 70 of the houses for the full block just for making one movie. That's what we're doing. So I want to, can we change the slide? Thank you. I want to say something about introduction. So what is film called independent film? So a lot of people say independent film. Okay, I know that is your student job. It's like $2 million or $500,000 productions. No, that is not how we define independent film in the industry. So what we call independent film is a film not made by studios. That is independent films. So as long as your film not made by Warner Brothers, Paramount, or like maybe Village Roadshow in Australia, any other productions we made refinancing, we made that independent financing it, we call it independent films. So what I've been doing is now like about $2 million film. What we're doing is about 30 million US dollar, to whatever, like now we're doing for $130 million films. And I want to also tell you a lot of things maybe shocked you. So all of the movie you're seeing here is made in Australia, including all of the film you heard about Aquaman, like like Paradise in the Caribbean, all those like big DC film, big like the ring, the ring of the and all the Marvel films, all made in Sydney. And also today I want to mention some big film made in Melbourne. And you can see that this film, the Ricky is also my business partner, and also our company Cosmos producing in here, and it's completely make you feel that it's a U.S. films. So Australia is an amazing country. You can make the film looks like you're in Africa, in UK, in US, and also in China, which is going to surprise you. Also, I want to just like mention the second slide. Thank you. Because I know I only have 20 minutes. So this is my trailer. I want you guys enjoy it first and then guess which part is shoot in here, which part in US. I'll mention a little bit more about this film, Blacklight, which is starring Liam Neeson. Some people probably heard about him. He's very good with saving his daughters and and all this, like friends and wife. And Liam, when he made this film, he actually 69. It's very hard. The film making in the very hard time in COVID in 2020. Actually, at that time, this movie is the only film actually still shooting in Australia, shooting in Melbourne. And people living in here probably remember how hard in 2020 it was because our, very strict isolation time starting from August, which I remember because it was my birthday. And then we start produce that movie and it's shooting entirely in November to December in Melbourne and post-production in Melbourne.
One day you wake up and realize you're not sure who the good guys are anymore.
You're a federal agent involved in a secret FBI program.
Off the books.
What kind of bad stuff do you do?
Breaking and entering. Physical coercion. You name it, I've probably done it.
Murder?
Not on my menu.
Grandpa!
Gabe, I've been thinking. Maybe it's time I hang it up.
No, Travis, not enough.
I know I wasn't a great father, but I'd like to be the best grandfather I can be.
Natalie doesn't need a fixer like you. I've been writing about the story for over a year. The United States government is killing innocent civilians under the guise of protecting democracy.
Under whose orders?
The director of the FBI. How many more have to die for you to stop looking the other way?
You need to come clean, Gabe.
You're confused about our relationship. You are my weapon. You work for me.
Count me out.
You show me a little gratitude if you want a normal life.
My end is now. Where's my family? If I find out you had anything to do with my granddaughter disappearing, you're gonna need more men.
You'll be finished before the day is over.
Everything I did was for you.
Are you really gonna shoot me, Travis?
Yes, I will.
Grandpa, are you a good guy?
I wanna be.
Recognize some part of in Melbourne. Okay, so a little bit tip, all of interior actually we made it in Melbourne. Actually, we made it in the convention center. Inside convention center, we rent the entire convention center because at that time, there's no exhibitions in COVID. So they have a huge space. So we rebuilt it as studio. And also, you're saying that he trying to punch another young guy. Actually, that is behind the convention center. We having this floor to make that. And also, there's a journalist sitting in there. We're using the second floor. We're dressing as like a newspaper room. You see that on the road, they chasing to each other is actually in Canberra because the Canberra is smaller. We can control the center of the road. We can having this car chasing. And then part of it is actually we're making in the new way, we call it virtual production. So we have a big screen behind us and we put the car in there and then people just rolling the car and then he can actually driving in there behind the thing is a big screen and it looks like the car is driving. So that's how we make the film, pretend in the Washington, D.C. And you couldn't even tell where it is. It's 99%, actually 100% made in Australia, produced in Australia. Even the opening you see that's beautiful Washington, D.C. is where we actually buy the footage. We didn't even go to Washington, D.C. to shoot it. So we shift, the entire crew, not the crew, sorry, well, that's a cast from U.S. we had chartered Liam Neeson from like New York to Melbourne, because at that time, now the international flight actually can follow our, way. And then, you can imagine there's no insurance at that moment because of COVID. All insurance company now insure anything, especially the people at the age, and then the central element. And also like, at that time, so because we are the movie industry, thanks to the Australian government, so they consider movie industry as a central element industry. So we are the only movies not being shut down, and we've been able to produce this movie in there. And this movie is about like $35 million. It's actually saved about more than 300 families' job for more than 8 months. So in the COVID, and then that's how they actually have enough payment. Although we have very good, benefit from government, but that's how we make our industry work. So I want to think about source of financing. What is independent films about? Actually, because you guys are more so in finance, marketing, or in maybe government department. So I want to make that as simple as we can. Let's say the movie is like selling an apartment or a house. So when we have a big building, like trying to build a building from here, the first thing we were doing is we're trying to have some government funding. And then in Australia, we have best government funding. Australian government provide 40% of the offset, producer offset for Australian movie. What is called Australian for me? Is the people who, produce in Australia and the story very close to Australia, or like the producers and directors or people actually from Australia made the film in Australia, and then we call it Australian films. So that Australian films can get a producer offset for 40%. Whatever you spend in Australia, we got 40% back from Australia government. And then the second part is, so when we have this government, promise whatever you're spending here, we're gonna give you back, then you can have a loan from the bank, because government is, the most like higher ranking for the, to pay back the money. So we can actually get loan from the banks and then trying to get that portion of the money for our first part of financing. The second part of financing is private investment, equity investors. So people sometimes thinking, okay, that movie about costs $30 million. Is that we're gonna having $30 million in here, and then like if we can't sell it, we can't sell it, the movie lose all? No, today we're not doing that. So actually, we're going to have the private investors looking for, first we have government funding, and second, that movie has to be sold out. Sold out to whom? That is what we call pre-sale. Pre-sale is all the independent film doing right now. So for example, Liam Neeson. We love Liam Neeson. Is an action hot man, and is popular in like US, Europe, even in China. So we go to all the sales company, we're saying, listen, I have a movie made leading by Liam Neeson and then producing by the like people who really do good at action movie. And then we have this like the movie can having the part of the producing going to history, and we believe that it's going to be a great movie. And as a director, you see the track of the director track, you believe, okay, he can make the movie, he wouldn't run away from the fund. Are you going to buy it? It's like we have a building, like they say, okay, we have a 20 apartment. We're going to the people saying, there's realistic builders actually build a house before. And we're going to promise we're going to finish the house by 2 years or 1 year. Are you going to buy my apartment and then pay a cheaper price? So that is why I say it's a little bit like a building. And then people saying, okay, I think your apartment in the future going to worth like 20% or 40% more. So I want to buy it by cheaper price. So they're going to pre-sell it. And then so when we have pre-sell it, we know, okay, it's going to work on France, work in Japan, work in US or other places, because people think that movie going to be made, and then when it's made it on the market, it worth more. So then we have this contract, and the contract with the distributors all these very solid distributors, that contract is you pay 10%, and then later, when the movie finish, you pay 90%, exactly like apartment, right? So, and then when we have this contract, we go to bank again, and then say, bank, say we have like 10 famous buyers in the world, and then they buy the movies, 100 movies in the past. Can you get us a loan for that money? And then bank check it, bank said, okay, no problems. We're gonna, loaning like 90% of whatever your contract money. Boom, we have second part of money. So one of the movie, 30%, we got, 35% or 40% from government. We got another 30% from whatever we sell in Europe or, China or whatever place. And then the last part is equity. So where the equity, the money coming from? Normally the money coming from the people who love the movie or the people who actually want to invest in movie. And then why we invest movie? First of all, making our money back. Second of all, we can get into the first class film industry, all those beautiful parties and your names. So that is like, where we got our private investors coming. And then we're going to say, okay, you come into using our money. What are you going to get to me? We're saying, US is one of the biggest market. Liam Neeson going to sell in US so good. So we save the US market for the, equity. And also Australia, also part of other ANSO territory because they were seeing more money. We sell them now, we lose money, but we sell later. It's like you save the penthouse, you save the best of the nothing set of the building later for the more expensive money. That is what we do in the film industry as well. And then we calculated, there's a little bit left there, still maybe like $2 million shortage during the closing. So what we're doing, we borrow some match fund, exactly like the financing for all the part. And then the matching fund, we say, okay, we'll give you a little bit more interest, like 15% per year for 2 years. And can you do that for me? And a lot of people saying, yes, we're doing that. And then that is how the film been financed. Let's see the next slide. So what is the government funding coming from? So I think Screen Australia, sorry, I cannot leave from here. So we have a Screen Australia state agency. We call it the Film Week, or Film, New South Wales. We have each the state government about 5% of the funding. State government normally give, Screen Australia represents state government, normally gives 30%, sometimes on top of that. And the producer offsets what I just said. If it's your Australian films, we consider difference as your US film. For example, like Liam Neeson's film is completely about, US, director from US, but whole producing production team in Australia. So we're gonna using its producer offset. It's a little bit lower than, Australian producer offset. It's called production offset. A little bit boring here, but that's at least we make sure that money in the pocket. And then location offset is if you're a Chinese film, you want to come to Australia to shoot part of the story about last story you met in Melbourne. Okay, that part of money I can give to you, but only the part of the you spend in Australia, I can give you up to 35%. Thank you. Okay. So next slide. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. So private investment, why I mentioned that? So I have a lot of private investors for helping me invest in films. They're from China, they're from Europe, from Singapore, and from Hong Kong and US. So they're kind of like combined for that 30% of our money. And sometimes I also have like very large investor first and several small investor combined together for making the movie. And then what we can get, as I said, we get risk management as, that you have to have people who understand the movie to tell you, okay, what to do and what not to do, and then tell you that how when the money gonna come back, which is exactly like the building, nothing new, but you have to understand the industry because the industry also have like all the industry, finance have a lot of tricky person. And then equity and profit share, that's just like boring stuff, but you can make the money, and then it's like, you are the part of the investor, but also we know like Liam Neeson going to take a lot because he said, I am like the only reason you can sell the movie. So they're gonna take a part of profit share as well. So it's not like, okay, you investing part of it, and you probably making more profit share because why? Because we're using the leverage of a government funding and a pre-sale. So equity is more than equity of the half of the equity. Maybe you spend 30% of equity, but you actually got 50% of profit share because you have leverage, which you guys understand what I'm saying, I guess. So what the most interesting part besides money, because everybody making money from different, so why the hell I need to put it in the movie? Because we have the credits, film festival, and then a lot of like, other, other parties we can attend. So you can see here, why I put in here is you see so many small wording, but like one day if you really go to the poster, you will notice that what is right down here. So like we're putting in Cine Studios, present. So these three companies is which the equity normally present themselves. And then you can see here, let's see if I can do, so you can see, this is my name, Coco Ma here, okay? So when you Google myself, Coco Ma, you can see I'm in everywhere about, I'm true. So the credit means I'm the real person, I'm not a fake one. And then you can see here is long names here. All these people are private equity investors. So they put their money in, so they got the credit back. So next time when they're saying, what are you doing with the movie? Is that I'm executive producer. So that's pretty cool. So I'm not only investors, I'm executive producers. When you become executive producers, you have a lot of saying in the movie, and then you can, like go to all the premiere, and then also like, it's actually help aiding your profile. So that's why people are obsessed with the movie. But sometimes you see like so many branding here because independent film is hard. We need a lot of investors. That's why I put in the name there. And can we go next slide? We actually go to a lot of film festivals for Better Man, and we got Cannes, and we went to like, we actually went to a lot of like film academy awards. So this is international production. So also we're saying the movie is not only Australian films. We actually having other, international co-production. Like this movie called The Whistleblower, and Eden probably know who both of them because they're the top one, famous actors in China. So entire story actually about China and an Australia relationship. It's a couple of years ago. And that movie actually failed in a treaty for co-production treaty. And that movie even is entirely story about Chinese people living in Melbourne, but they got 40% of Australian producer offset. Okay, sorry, I'm going to quickly. So we actually have a UK, Canada, New Zealand, and China. We have several treaties. We can use of that. And then the next slide. So the pre-sale distribution deals, sell rights before completion, that is what I mentioned, require talent track back and get financing tour. That's what we're trying to do. So pre-sale, how we pre-sale that? We went to the different market, like we went to Cannes, we went to AFM, and we sell them, in the market. And there's a sales company. Sometimes some people maybe you heard about CAA, like our talent company, or Rocky Sense. And then the next. Oh, sorry, next slide. I'm trying to be quick as I can. So this is a production phrase, develop production. So the movie is actually a long time. It's not like, it's like a building a, a building. So from development, sometimes it costs you 3-4 years to get a screenplay. And then you get screenplay, you read down it several times. You spend like little money, but you're gonna send it to the agent and to like, for example, like Liam Neeson love it. So when he love it, we start to have a pre-production. We start to sell the movie, and then we start to make sure like we apply the government funding. We should have a producer. That is how producers do. People are saying, what the hell is a producer? Never heard about it. I know director directing film. I know the writer, but I don't know what producers do. Producers do all the dirty jobs, and then trying to begging everybody to read script. That is what we're doing, and then we're trying to get funding and we try to sell the film, and then in the end, so we also talking the distribution. Next slide. Okay, we just cut it. Yeah.
I'm Robbie Williams. I'm one of the biggest pop stars in the world. This is my story, but I'm not going to tell it in an ordinary way because I don't see myself how others see me. For the next 2 hours, your house is mine! To be honest, I've always been a little less evolved. I don't want to rock, so let's take it from the top, shall we? I sit and wait. My dad was well enamored by the stars of the day.
You can't learn it. You're either born with it or you're a nobody.
There's an angel.
Don't want to be a nobody.
Contemplate my fate.
You're enough.
The places where we go when we're grey and old.
You got in? You're in that band?
Take that! I'll give you fucking baby! Shut up, you tit!
Oh, fuck off, Glenn!
Mother!
Look around the table. In 5 years, we're all going to hate each other. But we'll be rich.
Do I look like a pop star to you?
I wouldn't change your hair on your head.
And through it all, she offers me protection.
I want to prove I can make it on my own.
Proof to who?
Everyone.
And down the waterfall, wherever it may take me.
Songs are only valuable if they cost you something.
If you're gonna laugh, do it on the inside, yeah?
And know that life won't break me.
I don't give a fuck what they think.
You give a fuck what everyone thinks.
Remember, I believe in you.
Through it all. So, the story starts. I'm